René. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Juraj, for the opportunity. Happy to be here.
Obviously, we've been working very closely for the last couple of years together with MIDAS Aviation, with your colleagues, John, Becca, and Deidre, and Ogaga as well in Africa. So we appreciate lots of support from all of you guys, and it's great that you are on board now as well. So before we jump into the major topic of our today's discussion, can we start with briefly your personal aviation journey? How did you make it to your current role?
Yeah, thank you very much. Again, my name is René Armas Maes. I'm a commercial vice president and I'm a consultant associated with MIDAS Aviation, which, as we know, is a consulting firm specializing in aviation and tourism in London, UK. My expertise includes business restructuring, strategic planning, revenue optimization, and cost reduction. In addition, I have had the opportunity to develop and teach a number of industry courses on behalf of IATA, Airport Council International, and most recently with ONG and MIDAS Aviation, focusing on the airline sector, on the airport sector, and as well on tourism and hospitality industry. I started my professional career as a senior analyst at CIMAT Heliceg in New York. And besides that, I'm a regular webinar contributor to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, both in the US and Asia Pacific campus. And as well, I'm the board member of the Aviation Festival Americas.
Yeah, that's pretty lot, quite long journey. So which part of the journey was the best for you? Which part you enjoyed the most so far?
I've been involved in a lot of business restructuring. So that's the side of the business that I like, basically getting there, understanding, what are the things that need to be propelled forward, what are the things that need to be cut, and basically restructuring a business. So, you can have a better impact, not only top line, but bottom line as well. So restructuring has been very well. Teaching and developing courses has been something that I've been able to share my knowledge, with the next generations and some of the participants as well of these courses. So I would say those two are the ones that I enjoy the most thus far.
Excellent. So now you have created a very special online course about tourism restart and recovery plans. So why do you think it is important for governments or official tourism boards, associations, destination management organization, and any other tourism entities or other players in the tourism ecosystem to try and use this online course that you have created?
As we know, the travel and tourism sector is facing unprecedented challenges due to the impact of the COVID-19 virus. We're talking from job losses to mounting debt and liquidity issues. Besides, how to segment the market and stimulate demand to reposition a brand for future growth, preserving liquidity and containing costs to stay afloat, to name a few, are key topics today. Therefore, players in the tourism industry need to revise their strategies and work around a number of expected reset, restart, and setback while they find the best formula to strengthen bookings, rebuild confidence to travel, and incentivize demand. One of the key examples of many expected setback is represented by the leisure travel air bubble between Singapore and Hong Kong. That's a good example, which amid a spike in coronavirus infections, the two governments decided in December 2020 to postpone it until further notice. Initially, the two sides had agreed in October, as you probably might recall, to launch an air travel bubble starting on November the 2nd. So that didn't happen. Besides, consumer travel preference have changed from mass tourism from a more niche and focused strategy to personal well-being and others. And as such, tourism businesses need a new vision, need a revised strategy, and therefore there is a need to change accordingly. Finally, this online course will provide participants with the tools and the essential guidance to understand what the key the key pillars of a successful tourism restart and recovery plan are.
Okay, so let's dive into it. So from your perspective, what are those key pillars for the tourism restart and recovery?
There are 8 key pillars that travel and tourism businesses need to consider to properly execute a sound strategic and demand recovery plan. They include from rebalancing business priorities and budget reformulation, including zero-based budgeting techniques to using data analytics to understand market dynamics, opportunities, and challenges, especially when, for example, a destination in a country A is competing head-to-head with destination B in country B. In addition, you have focus segmentation, you have demand stimulation, and the use of marketing and communications to reposition a business and a brand for growth. Moreover, the importance of alliances and partnerships, even with competitors, as they are seen as a low capex unique partnership opportunities, they can help a business tourism to provide a more attractive destination offer to targeted audience in an asset-light manner, while enhancing a product and service offering to its customer base at a minimum capital cost. Finally, the importance of stakeholder collaboration throughout the end-to-end travel chain, and that includes basically partnering with airlines, airports, destinations, tour operators, DMOs, DMCs, hotels, restaurants, ground provider, as well as even testing suppliers to guarantee the PCR tests are conducted efficiently and on time. And lastly, the use of technology and why innovation in the business is key, in addition to up and re-skill the workforce in terms of destination knowledge, the use of the COVID war when communicating with customer, which is very key as you are trying to diminish fears and anxieties to travel, and even learning about the company risk management plan to quickly isolate and contain a potential virus case so an entire facility, such as an hotel or a destination, can remain open, even if a case is identified. And as destinations today, as we know, they cannot even afford anymore an entire destination or facility to be shut down, besides the bad media press that it brings to the facility or to the destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about data analytics a little bit. So obviously, we are all aware that many tourism or many aviation players are using those data, the airports, the airlines, tour operators, for example. But how DMOs or tourism boards can use those market intelligence data?
That's a good question. And actually we see that, the use of data can be a huge differentiator in terms of the strategy and and how a plan is put together. A number of data sets need to be used to understand market dynamics. We know all that. And to position a product or a destination offer in front of, let's say, again, the example, country A on top of another destination in country B. Therefore, key data set to have and analyze includes airline schedules, you have booking activity, you have average fares, and you have load factors. This is from the airline point of view. In addition, you have to look at travel sentiment data and intent to book that are quite useful when trying to understand market dynamics and comparing destinations. In addition, both official tourism boards and DMCs should execute a number of analyses on a regular basis, including country-specific analysis, route competitiveness analysis, and even airfare comparisons analysis, among others. Furthermore, a tourism dashboard covering key performance indicator can supply key marketing insight, both at destination and at route level. In addition, a tourism dashboard can assist them to quickly identify trends, potential opportunities, and what are the challenges specifically for that market that will need obviously to be addressed in a tourism and demand recovery plan. Finally, a number of other key data sets as shown in this slide, will include, macroeconomic data to airline and airport specific data in addition to others.
As we've always been saying, it's all about collaboration between all the players, the airports, the tourism boards, DMCs, DMOs, and sharing data with each other. So I think that's absolutely very, very relevant, and it will be more important than ever before in the upcoming months and years. It looks like a really, really very comprehensive course that you have put together. So upon completion of this tourism restart and recovery plan online course, what those who will take the course will learn.
That's a key question as well, and I mean, thank you for asking that as well. I mean, we have put together this course, and by using a combination of theory, global examples, and case studies, participants will learn from examples, key strategies to successfully segment the market in the new normal era, including, I mean, as we are seeing, there are more than 12 domestic and more than 14 international strategies that we have identified through a global benchmark. In addition to this, how to stimulate demand and what are the key considerations to reopen a destination. This is something else that the participant will be able to understand. I mean, it will be key to understand how to reopen a destination while rebuilding demand and travel confidence. Moreover, how both public stakeholders and the private sector can collaborate to rebuild demand faster, including key initiatives from fiscal incentive, for example, and holiday vouchers to marketing and communications partnerships, just to name a few. Likewise, I mean, today the key question is by when and how the tourism industry will recover. Everybody's asking that question. Will COVID-19 change the way people travel and do tourism forever? Maybe yes. In my opinion, most likely this is going to happen. While initially indicators show that travel demand was growing last summer, as we saw, largely to leisure travelers, still nobody can predict what the future holds. This is essentially so as we face new lockdowns and travel restrictions, especially in Europe, as you have seen, as well as new strains of the virus that have increased, unfortunately, anxieties to book travel and they are basically heightened by the lack of the coordinated effort between countries and governments. Besides, therefore, and following the 8 key pillars methodology and strategy that I showed before, that includes a revised commercial strategy that needs to be in place, and that needs to include an alignment of travel confidence with commercial boosters, is perhaps the best solution to accelerate bookings and optimize sales. Overall, we put together this course after consultation with many industry players, as indeed a revised strategy and a plan are needed to rebuild tourism demand. And that strategy needs to be reviewed top down, bottom up, while business look for ways to stay afloat and reposition their businesses for growth until demand and revenue environments improve, both at domestic and international levels.
You have mentioned a very interesting thing, which is a collaboration between governments and the private sector in this restart and recovery journey. So, do you have any examples that already are in place?
Well, one example is when a government, through its tourism board, execute financial incentives. The other example will be when they as well execute a joint communicational campaign at multi-levels. We're talking about provincial level, we're talking about domestic level, regional, and even international level in order to rebuild bookings and demand. This should be done in close consultation with the private sector as they bring key destination and customer knowledge to the table. For example, the government of Thailand is one key example, as shown in this slide. The end goal is to bring all players together, including the government, the tourism board, and the private sector, in order to develop a sound multi-step and multi-sector tourism and demand recovery strategy. Likewise, to assist travel and tourism business to quickly restructure their businesses while staying afloat.
It is very interesting. I am aware of an example which is not directly related to the tourism, but something very similar in Austria, or definitely in Vienna. The government was giving vouchers to the whole population worth 50 euros to spend in the restaurants of Vienna, for example. And this, by this, driving demand for and supporting both the population and both the food and beverage industry. There are all the restaurants and bistros who are suffering really a lot during this all these lockdowns.
Right, that's a good example, and that's actually a multi-step, a multi-sector, as you mentioned. It's not only hotels, it's
Yeah.
restaurants, food and beverage, and other locations. You can see other examples like this in Singapore, where the government has given 100 Singaporean dollars for people to spend in tourism. You have cases of that as well in Costa Rica and Latin America, and even in Argentina, you have a different strategy where they do this as well, and they actually for every additional dollar that you spend on a certain amount, they will give you 50% credit to basically so you can expend additional money on tourism. So, there are different ways this can be built. It's being done around the world, but a strategy is needed in consultation between the government, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Culture, Transportation, and as well as the private sectors in order to have the money basically being targeted to the destinations and the sectors that need to be, they are trying to stimulate them now.
Absolutely, yeah. So there already are, as you mentioned, a couple of those very inspirational examples from all over the world. So I'm sure that after people will go through your course, there is lots of inspiration over there from those examples, and also from all other pillars that you talk about in the course. Let me conclude our discussion today with the mantra that many people are saying, both about aviation and tourism, which is we need to build back better. So recovery is one thing. So obviously we all want to recover the traffic, the tourism figures, let's say to 2019 levels. I mean, there are lots of discussions if it will take 2, 3, 5, 6 years, or it will never happen. That maybe we peaked at 2019. Who knows? At the moment, very difficult to say. So what are your views on that, and some final thoughts on this build back better? Is it or do you agree with that phrase also in terms of the tourism recovery? Do we need to build back tourism better?
I think so. I mean, again, there is a lot of pessimism out there, but I'm trying to spin this as well on a positive side. The good news about this is that businesses will reinvent themselves, and that will mean that they will build leaner, more agile, and flexible structures. And they will try to move as well as many fixed costs to variable costs in order to preserve liquidity. So in the future, if they are able to do this and go through this transition and painful period, they will come up out of this stronger, more, the industry will have bigger margins and have a better, and stronger profitability. So definitely they will be do that. That will be happening. I mean, besides that, I mean, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused and it is expected to continue causing massive disruption to tourism and destinations. Therefore, I mean, we're talking about this on a global scale, even beyond 2021 and 2022, as you mentioned. So therefore, and to tactically stimulate demand and incentivize booking, tourism industry players need a revised strategy. And that is why that is the whole core message of this course. Besides, a comprehensive plan needs to be in place and potentially reset and restarted a number of times based on how demand behaves. But most importantly, perhaps destinations and leisure markets will have spent most of the time in 2020 reflecting on their products, how they can position their destinations and market to attract both new airlines and airports. Some resort, for example, will have completely rethought their position, choosing to attract higher yielding passengers, visitors, with an eye to their sustainability credential. For example, this is the case in the Maldives. Is a good example. Whilst others maybe will have look at how to readjust their offering. So, I mean, still we're navigating through painful and stressful time. Liquidity, to preserve liquidity is a key point to execute perhaps multiple and successive and aggressive rounds of cost cutting is needed. And again, I believe if you bring a strategic focus to your business using data and understanding market dynamics, where the opportunities are and where the challenges are, you will be able to reposition your brand for growth based on the number of focus segmentation strategies we discuss in the course, and as well as the stimulations strategy that we have that we are discussing as well in this course.
Absolutely. And we make sure we include the link for the course in the podcast show notes. If you're watching the YouTube video, there will be a link in the video description below. So if you're interested to find out more about the course, click on the link. And I'm sure, as you heard today, lots of very interesting information, strategies, insights, and actually the plans how to prepare for the upcoming future, where hopefully the world will be a bit better place and we will all be able to fly and travel and enjoy what this beautiful world has to offer.
Right, and last comment, and this is an important one. I mean,
Of
besides
course.
and a key component of our course is that on completion, you will also be entitled to a complimentary 30 minutes interactive Q&A with the instructors, including myself. This is a key opportunity to answer your questions, questions that anybody might have, discuss even and provide feedback on what are, what are their tourism recovery ideas, plans, and strategy. Basically, we can go back and forth on different ideas, and we can provide feedback, on how we see and how is this developing in different part of the world. The idea will be to look at the whole world, see what is happening out there, and see how players can customize a hybrid potential solution that might probably fit for the market. And this is a one-time unique opportunity, and we are hoping that people will take advantage of that.
Absolutely. So I see that you are already following the examples. I think it was from Argentina or Costa Rica, you said. So buy one, get one free. So if you buy the course, you get the free consultation. So I think that's
right.
That's
Right.
very, very attractive offer. So we encourage everybody from the tourism sector. And I think, everybody is struggling right now. So everybody needs to rethink their strategy. So yeah.
Yeah, there are opportunities out there. Just basically people need to rethink, refocus, restart, reset, relearn, readjust, and basically they will be in better hands to deal with this lackluster demand that we're having today and seeing today globally.
100%. René, thanks a lot for your time, for all your insights about the course. As mentioned, we will share the link. Feel free to register to find out more about it. And before I let you go, one final question, which I always ask at the very end. What do you love the most about aviation?
Well, I love meeting people, connecting with people, and basically traveling, around the world. I had the opportunity to do that as a consultant. So I really miss the travel. I really miss seeing people face to face, connecting and learning about different cultures. Those are the ones that I really miss right now.
Yeah, I think that makes two of us and probably many of those who are listening or watching as well. So, yeah, let's hope we'll be able to do that very soon again. Rene, thanks a lot and see you soon.
Thank you very much. You're at AviaDev.